In June of 2014, Derek and Maria Broaddus bought a home for them and their three small children at 657 Boulevard in Westfield, New Jersey. Just days after closing and before fully moving in, they began receiving creepy letters signed by someone calling themselves, quote, the Watcher.
Underwear, alcohol, syphilis, murder, forbidden.
I feel like I finished it kind of not late, but I'm not going to tell you I didn't finish it at work because I definitely finished it at work today.
At least you finished. Most
I
girls
did.
don't get to finish at all.
Yeah, that's true. Most of the time we have to finish ourselves.
It's so unfortunate.
It is. It is.
Creepy. I know this one a little bit, but I don't know it well.
Yeah. I had never heard of it. But apparently there's a Netflix series called The Watcher that's based upon this.
Hmm.
I did not watch it, but it got scathing reviews on like IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. It was like, this is the worst series like you'll ever watch on Netflix or something like that. But it had like Bobby Cannavale, Naomi Watts was in it. I want to say Mia Farrow was in it. So it's not like it had bad actors. It must have just been written poorly or something like that. But there
Yeah.
was a Netflix series called The Watcher that is based loosely upon this story.
Okay. Well, I guess I probably won't watch it.
I know. Or maybe you will because this is so titillating. You'll have to know
Maybe.
more.
Yeah, tell me all about it. What are your sources? Oh, wait.
Um,
I'm jumping ahead, aren't I?
yeah, you haven't even introduced us
I don't,
or the series.
frankly, I don't want to, Amanda. If they don't know by this point, they can get out. Just, I'm kidding. Please don't, please don't go.
Please don't go. Don't leave
Um,
us.
I don't have my things in front of me, so I'm going to try and wing this.
Okay.
Welcome to Forbidden, the podcast where we discuss the dark, the disgusting, and the disgraceful in our unmentionables. That's right, we've slipped into less. Have drink in hand. I'm Blake Roberts.
I'm Amanda Kamada, and this is Forbidden.
Well, so this is Forbidden. Let me tell you just a little bit more about what we're doing tonight. Obsession has a pattern. It starts with a glance, a message, a fantasy, and spirals into something far more dangerous. Stalkers have targeted celebrities, coworkers, strangers, and even entire families. Some are driven by untreated mental illness, others by rage, entitlement, or a need for power. But all of them leave the same trail: fear, confusion, and a chilling sense that someone is always watching.
And once again, I have that Rockwell song on my mind.
Our new
I
theme.
always feel like somebody's watching me. And I have no voice. My sources tonight are Wikipedia, Time Magazine, CBS News, People Magazine, True Crime Society, and then, of course, I'd be remiss not to mention Netflix because there is that series called The Watcher that, again, is loosely based upon this. So this happened in Westfield, New Jersey. So just a little bit about Westfield, New Jersey. It's a town in Union County in New Jersey, and it's in North Jersey. It's about 16 miles southwest of Manhattan. According to the 2020 United States Census, its town's population is about 31,000 people, so a very affluent area. In March of 2018, Bloomberg actually ranked it as the 99th highest income place in the United States and the 18th highest income location in New Jersey. So, and this is what is so interesting about this story is according to a 2014 nationwide survey, it was ranked as the 30th safest city to live in the United States. And this story happens in 2014. So kind of interesting that it was voted like one of the safest cities that you could possibly be in the United States. And then this happens. And so a little bit of the timeline of the case of the Watcher. And again, this was a 6-bedroom home that Derek and Maria Broaddus bought on June 2nd of 2014 at 657 Boulevard Street in Westfield, New Jersey. They paid at that time around $1.355 million for the house. So that was on June 2nd of 2014. Cut to June 5th of 2014 when the first letter arrives. Just a few days after closing and before they even really moved in, they received the first letter postmarked June 4th. It is addressed to the new owner. The letter said, quote, 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family. I have been put in charge of watching. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s and my father watched in the 1960s. It's now my time, end quote. It also demonstrated personal knowledge of the family situation. The writer mentioned seeing contractors at the property and even named the make and model of their minivan. So that was on June 5th. So imagine you just closed on this, like, what would now probably be a $2 million home in one of what you feel is one of the safest cities that you could possibly live in. And 3 days later, you get a letter like this in the mail.
Yeah, it's sort of
So
arousing.
it's kind of crazy.
Someone's out there watching me. Yeah.
So the initial investigation, like happened pretty much as soon as they got the letter. So Maria Broaddus actually approached the previous owners and was like, what the fuck? Who admitted to her that they also received a letter but discarded it. They then accompanied her to the police station where the detective who was in charge advised them not to tell anyone about the letter. I don't know why. That week, though, a neighbor, Michael Langford, who lived at 661 Boulevard, was interviewed by police and denied involvement, although he later became a figure of local speculation. So it's interesting because, when you buy a place, you're technically the owners are supposed to disclose anything crazy that's happening with the place. Now, I don't know if, and I'll get into this a little bit more, like, I don't know if that extends to receiving mail like that. Like I know you're not supposed to withhold information, like if there was like
A murder.
a murder or severe structural damage done by something, or any kind of things like that they're supposed to disclose. But are you supposed to disclose a letter that you got in the mail?
Yeah, I wonder what the threshold is for that. I can imagine they said they just received 1 letter.
Yes.
I wonder we also have to wonder if that's true.
Right.
If they're like, we are like, we're actually leaving this house because something really fucked up is happening here. Like, no,
Right.
we just got 1 letter. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. So all of this started happening in early June. So they received their first letter on the 5th. And then they received their second letter mid to late June. A second letter came referencing their children. The author seems to know how many children that they have and their names, and asks, quote, have you found what's in the walls? The Broadduses began bringing in outside help. They hired a private investigator and also retained a former FBI threat assessment expert.
Right.
In 2015, so this kept going on, the Broadduses filed a lawsuit against the previous owners alleging that they knew about the Watcher harassment but failed to disclose it when selling. Meanwhile, more letters were sent by the Watcher, and they continued to grow more menacing. Some mention the children and referred to them as young blood and speak in almost spiritual generational terms about the house.
It's so creepy.
So creepy. And so that was 2015 that they filed the lawsuit. And then we'll get into the lawsuit decision in a second. So 2016 and 17, they still had received letters, but there were basically four major letters in total that they received by early 2017. According to local reporting, tensions in the neighborhood increase, and they were reporting high stress, and they really fully never settled into the house because of everything that was going on. And you know what? I wouldn't either, because if those
Uh-uh.
motherfuckers can afford a almost $1.4 million house, they can probably afford to find somewhere to stay. I wouldn't stay there.
No, and you know when you move into a new home, it takes a while for it to feel like, well, like a home.
Right.
And in order to get there, you have to feel safe and secure. So I can imagine they never had that.
Right, right. And this went into 2017 from 2014 that they were receiving, these random letters at weird times. So they filed that lawsuit in 2015. In October of 2017, a judge dismissed the claims against the Woods family. But then they also listed the house for sale in October of 2017. Some letters were hand delivered to people who had publicly criticized the Broadduses, and they were signed friends of the Broaddus family, although the father ended up admitting that he authored the letters himself. So that's kind of creepy, because I think the neighbors were getting pissed off because, them being public about what was going on with the Watcher was probably affecting the, value of their homes and their feeling of safety and stuff like that. So they were kind of shunned by the neighborhood. So the dad ended up writing all of these letters and called it Friends of the Broadduses and told them to give them a break, which I thought it was a little creepy given that he's been receiving the letters all this time.
Hmm.
Um, but he denied that he was the Watcher, which of course he wasn't the Watcher, because the letters were arriving before they even moved into the place, with the previous owners. So they even had a renewed investigation in this in late 2018 while the house was still up for sale. So the house was put up for sale in October of 2017. They were like, I am getting rid of this fucking house, which, makes sense. But the Union County Prosecutor's Office in late 2018 reopened its investigation. One major lead was that female DNA was found on one of the envelopes. And investigators asked neighbors on the street to voluntarily submit DNA tests for comparison. And of those who actually took the DNA test, none of the samples from their neighbors matched the DNA found on the envelope.
Mm.
Yeah. So female DNA found on the envelope. I mean, you can't make people, submit to a DNA sample, but like, I mean, if I weren't, guilty, I'd be like, sure, if it makes my neighbor feel any better to know that I'm not the one that's doing this.
Right.
um, but none of them tested, none of the samples from neighbors matched the DNA on the found on the envelope. So once again, they had put up their house for sale in 2017. It finally sold July 1st of 2019 for $959,000, about $400,000 less than they paid, because of the stigma around the house. It made it hard to find a buyer. And post 2019, all that I know is the aftermath is the house remained standing and the new owners moved in. The case remains unsolved. No one has ever been publicly identified or charged as the Watcher. They have largely, the Broadduses stayed out of the public eye. And reportedly, it said that they did not watch the Netflix series. Probably because they were pissed because they probably didn't make any money off of it. You know, I don't. and it's interesting that they never figured out who did this.
Did the
I,
letter stop for the people that moved in after? Do you know?
I couldn't find any sources saying that they continue to receive those letters. So was it a watcher that died? Maybe. I mean, this was happening, 8, 9 years ago at this point. But, just some key observations about the whole thing, because this is a form of stalking,
Oh, yeah.
it's like they gave like a deeply personal historical tone to, the letters, like the multi-generational, like my grandfather watched the house, my father watched the house, now it's my responsibility to watch the house. Like, that's so crazy. And it made the situation terrifying for the family because they were referring to the children as young blood and knew their names and that sort of thing. Um, I can't believe that the lawsuit against the previous owners was like mostly dismissed. Like they didn't have to take responsibility, but it obviously put a psychological toll on the family, and they had to get therapy and all that stuff for their entire family. But to this day, the watcher remains unidentified.
I wonder if they ever went back through. I mean, I'm sure that whoever it was just like making shit up, honestly, but I wonder if they ever went back through like all of the home records to see all of the former owners.
Right.
Because if you went back to the 20s, like maybe it was that person's um ancestor, that
Yeah.
actually owned the house or lived there. It sort of
Maybe
reminds
it
me.
was a ghost writing the letters and mailing them to
Yeah.
him.
Have you ever seen or heard of the movie Sentinel from the 70s?
I don't think so.
It's been a long time since I've watched it, but it's in New York. I think it's like in Brooklyn, and it's like an old brownstone, if I'm remembering correctly. But there is an apartment where this old man lives, and he just sits and watches over the apartment. That's all. Like that's what he does. And he
Wow.
dies in there, and then someone else has to come in and take over, and it's just this thing, this like cycle where someone has to keep watching the apartment, and it's like
Mhm.
the gateway to hell or something.
Mhm.
But it just sort of reminded me of that, like the way that the letter was written to the family.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
creepy.
It's creepy that, like, they knew, like, that they had 3 kids, they knew the kids' names, they knew their car, they knew when contractors, so it had to have been somebody that lived around there, or was or like I said, a ghost, because they
Or,
actually asked if they know what was in the walls.
well, have you ever heard of frogging?
No, but it sounds dirty.
It sounds dirty, and I don't know why it's called that, but it's essentially where people move into your home and live like in the attic or live in the walls, basically, and you don't know that they're there.
Yeah. And
It's like a real thing.
I guess a house that big, I mean, it had 6 bedrooms, like, was somebody living in the attic or crawl space or something like that and
Yeah,
just knew what was going on with them. That's really creepy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's creepy.
A little bit different than your stalking, story that you did. Well, I guess it was last night, but technically last
Like,
week. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
oh yes, the merriest of Thanksgivings to you.
So, Blake, what are you doing for the Thanksgiving holiday? What are you giving thanks for?
Um,
Not a lot this year.
Not a lot. We're down to a single income, so I'm not thankful for that. Um, we've both been sick, you and I. Not thankful for that.
No, no. Thank God I'm finally getting over that.
Our tree fell in our front yard not long ago. Not thankful for that.
Mm. My
Uh,
water heater went out and I had to replace it.
I
Not
thought you were
thankful
saying your
for
water
that.
broke. It's like, yeah, we're not thankful for that
Yeah,
either.
there is never going to be any water breaking in this body. My water heater broke, so that was, an unexpected expense that is
Mhm.
not inexpensive. I mean, God, knock on wood, at least it wasn't the air conditioner. I mean, that would be worst case scenario. Oh, and the assessment that I'm having to pay on both of my condos for a pool that's being ripped out, and so that assessment of about $20,000 is really something to be not thankful for.
I mean, you
I
could buy
hope
a
to
car with that.
I know, I hope to be thankful for the pool when it's back. It better be fucking nice is all I'm saying.
I'll be out there next spring slash well, I guess right around summer. I'm gonna bring my Speedo, and I'm gonna enjoy that pool.
Yes, you should. If it's not done by then, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Yeah,
Because they said it's supposed to be like 8 months. You know what that means? A year and a half.
yeah.
Yeah.
Guess I'm going to the beach instead.
Yes, you will be going to the beach. We'll get you a place right there on the beach for
Mhm.
you. Yes, yes, exactly. Well, but what are you doing? You are traveling, aren't you?
Yeah, and honestly, I haven't had any time to consider any plans beyond just getting out there to Oklahoma,
Mhm.
just because work's been crazy, but I've got a friend out there, Casey, who I always visit, so I'll catch up with her at
Mhm.
some point, and then family time, hanging out with the nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
There will be wine,
Yes, there has to
co
be.
copious amounts of
Right.
wine.
Right. Particularly when children are involved. Although they're getting old, your nieces and nephews are kind of getting older now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're, like, in or nearing the teenage era, so at this point, they're mostly playing video games and watching TV and not really interacting,
Right.
so,
Which is totally fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you'll be in Arkansas.
I will be in Arkansas. It's a really quick trip though. Like I'm literally flying out on Thanksgiving morning, but I'm only going to be there until Sunday evening. So 4 days. It'll be a really quick trip, but I'm going to spend some time with my grandfather who is turning 95
Mhm.
and my family and that sort of thing. So basically doing the same thing as you.
Yeah, just
And
gonna
with
go up there
with
and
wine.
be
Yes,
everything. Yes.
exactly. And I might see a couple of friends when I'm there, but I don't know that I'm gonna have time, honestly, between all the family stuff that I have to do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It always be like that,
Yes.
trying to squeeze everything in.
Well, Blake, where can our thankful our listeners who are thankful for us, where can they continue listening, watching, etc.?
Exactly right where you are right now, which could either be on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. And if you are thankful for this podcast, drop a comment, leave a review or a rating, share it with your friends, and then you can follow along on social media. We are no longer on TikTok. Bye. We are on Instagram and Facebook sometimes. You can also catch um, some antique episodes, as I believe you put it yesterday, ancient, on our website, theforbiddenpod.com.
I would go
And you
back
know,
and, check some of those out. We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary pretty soon. We've been
yeah,
doing
we're like
this
a month out.
Yeah, we've been doing this for almost 2 years, so there's a lot of content out there.
What episode are we even on now? I don't even know.
134 will be the one that you did yesterday. It's either 134 or 135. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of stories.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I need to go back and revisit some of those too. I'll probably just be embarrassed.
I'm terrified to listen to them. Like,
Hmm.
that's why I think I avoid the website because I go and see, like, old stuff and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, I'm sure this is awful." We need to
Yeah, next time,
retool it.
I know. Next time you and I can get together for whenever our next photo shoot's going to be, or planning session, we should sit down and like listen to some of those together.
Yeah.
We'll pop some popcorn and drink some drinks. It'll be
We're
fun.
gonna have to drink a lot because I'm gonna be so embarrassed. So I'll be like, okay, let's pull this off of here, like now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't know, have you ever listened to My Favorite Murder? Like their first few episodes are just like so bad. And like I feel like I used to drink a lot more before, to try to get comfortable. And I probably ended up stumbling over a lot of stuff. I don't know. I just feel like I'm probably just gonna be mortified if I listen to old ones.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listeners, we are always thankful for you. And we are hoping that you are having a wonderful Thanksgiving week. Hopefully, you have some time off of work to spend with your loved ones or spend with those that you wish you loved and are going to get so drunk that you can put up with them.
You can also spend some time taking nudes and emailing them to us at hello@theforbiddenpod.com.
Okay, well, I think this is a time for us to say, listeners, we thank
Thank
you.
you.